Those last two videos are longer than this one. This one's going to be like 5 minutes, but it's important. This is how do we draw conclusions? What conclusions can we draw? So we have here something called the most important table. And if you can see here, there's kind of two questions you've got to answer here. Were the individuals randomly selected? Okay, if we randomly selected them, what do we got? What do we ought to do? We can draw inference about the population. What else do we got? Well, if we have individuals randomly assigned to groups, what inferences can we draw? We can draw inferences about cause and effect. So we've got kind of these two random things. These two random things, and these two random things have a large influence over how broadly we can apply the conclusions of the study, whatever kind of study what it was. So, first question, is the population well represented in this study? Sample. That is, were the individuals randomly selected from the population? Let's write some things down. What's random selection going to give you? Random selection, hopefully, it will give you a representative sample. Think about what representative looks like. Representative means the sample, in quote, looks like the population, right? If we want to draw conclusions about the big group, our small group better look like the big group. So we do random selection. What does random selection do? It hopefully generates a representative sample. And what's that representative sample going to allow us to do? Draw conclusions conclusions about the whole population. Random selection, what does it give you? It gives you a representative sample. What can you do with the representative samples? You can draw conclusions about the whole population. What is this of the color above? This is the yellow coloring. Did we randomly select from the population? Random selection from the population, that's easy on surveys, but that's hard on medical studies. We don't just get to randomly pick people off the street in our medical studies van and say, hey, you're taking part. So we've got random selection that lets us draw conclusions about the whole population. What's the other thing we've got? We've got random assignment. What does random assignment give us? Well, let's write this little chain of logic down here. Random assignment. There was a phrase I highlighted the other day with random assignment. What does random assignment do? It generates roughly what? Equivalent treatment groups. Okay, well, what's the idea of roughly equivalent? They're about the same. Roughly equivalent, that just means about the same. So what's the idea why do we want to get roughly equivalent treatment groups? Well, we're going to give them treatments. So the idea then is the only major difference is the treatment received. Well, if the only major difference between these two groups is what treatment received, what can we do then? We can draw cause and effect conclusions. You're going to have to explain some of these things at the end of a FRQ. This is kind of a FRQ part C. This is a really common follow-up question. What inferences can be drawn? Well, you've got to ask yourself these two questions. Did we randomly select the people? Then we can say it's true for the whole population. Did we randomly assign people? Then we can draw cause and effect conclusions. So once again, here's the big idea. Random selection. You can draw conclusions about the whole population. Random assignment. You can draw those cause and effect conclusions. That's the whole lecture. See you soon.